Hi everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be letting my sister pick my reads. I have been finding it very hard to choose what I want to read recently, so I thought I'll put the decision into someone else's hands, Lexi's.
Which of course is me, because I'm spectacular in that aspect. And in all other aspects, I'm kidding.
Yeah, but also you know what I like, and yes, she is choosing from my physical TBR because we gotta get that physical TBR down. But what I mean is she knows what I'm in the mood for right now.
Do I? Am I just like sensitive from your little brain?
Yeah. Okay, what's the first book that you picked?
Gloves Off by Stephanie Archer. The reason I picked this was because I brought it her, and obviously we gotta get that away with, because obviously if I buy it her it means it's spectacular and it's amazing. It's amazing.
I also picked this because it's like hockey or
Something.
a grumpy enforcer.
Yeah, grumpy too. That's why I picked it. There you go.
And I'm also going to be kind of getting closer to finishing a series also. It's a bonus. Because you've actually brought me the next book in this series as well.
I did.
Which
Did
I'm
I
excited
come?
to get.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. And I'm excited to get to that one because it's Single Dad Tribe. But anyway, we're going to be reading this one.
The next book is The Air by Sophie Locke. I don't know why I picked this, I just did.
Which is amazing. I think it's because I said it's kind of like mafia.
Yeah, she says the mafia, and
I
I said, okay, you do you, babe. Gotta love a mafia, and that's why I picked it. I don't know anything about this. So yeah, there you go.
She's also getting me to basically start a new series, but
Yeah.
this series has been on my TBR for actually too long now. Like, I'm going to say probably about 3 or 4 years, so I do need to get this series read. It's been on there that long that they have now changed the title of the book. Yeah, so now it's like year 1, year 2, year 3, then there's year 4 and then graduation. And like, the books are shorter as well. That is how long it's been on
Why
my
are you
TBR.
halfway out of the thing of your own
I don't
video?
know. It's because I'm like slowly leaning back.
Oh, so my posture's so bad I look shorter than you. I promise I'm taller.
You just had to put that out there, didn't
Of
you?
course, but my posture's just really bad.
You're not that much taller. You're really not. You're like... No, that's not fair because you're sitting more forward. Anyway, and I have bad posture. Last
Okay.
book, I got to choose 3.
The next book, Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. This man on here is so fine, by the way. Just saying. And I don't like bearded men. So fine. I don't know what this is about. I picked it because the man is fine.
I told her not to pick it because of that, but she did.
The man is fine. I don't know, I'm just too busy staring at this man's face, honestly.
Nice.
So what is this about? You tell me.
NHL player, so basketball.
Oh yeah, I did know about that, and I did pick that because obviously you gotta love anything to do with that. Anything to do with the NHL,
Yeah.
Some type of sport. You gotta love it though.
Sports romance. I love the sports romance. But then with this one, it's not like your average sports romance. There's also dark topics, themes of domestic violence, sexual assault, all that stuff. So that is why this, again, is a start to a series. A series that has been on my TBR for so long just because I'm nervous for it. Like, I have had to prepare myself for it, basically.
I'm so random. You can tell when I'm swallowing because I look like a frog. Look.
I'm leaving that in.
That's okay.
I'm joking.
My personality, I don't mind. This man and this book and this fine man.
If you was to read this, you'd rate it 5 stars just because of...
Yeah.
We are gonna go. I am going to start with Gloves Off. So I completely forgot to explain what this book was about, so I thought I'd come in and quickly do that. So this follows Georgia, who is a doctor, and Lexi, who is an NHL enforcer, and they end up having to have a marriage of convenience that she can secure her inheritance and he solve his citizenship crisis, and so they must end up living together. even though they absolutely despise each other.
So I have finished Gloves Off, and this one was definitely a nice, quick, easy read. I wasn't expecting to finish it as quickly as I did, but it was actually quite enjoyable and quite gripping, which I wasn't shocked about because I do really love this series. But I would say I love how fast paced this was, and I loved the chemistry between the characters and all the like hockey stuff. It just kept me really intrigued. I like that you can tell that Alexei and Georgia was made for each other, even though they had like all this banter and everything like that in the beginning. You could just tell that they was meant to be together. And I like that Georgia gave off like strong FMC vibe, or she is a strong FMC. One thing I didn't like about it was in the first half, this is meant to be like enemies to lovers, and it does give off that vibe, but in the beginning I feel like Alexei isn't like, I feel like it wasn't like enemies. I felt like he was just generally like kind of really being mean to her, and then it turned into like this bickering thing before Alexei kind of completely changed into a completely different person, where his personality completely changed as soon as he started to realise he has feelings for her, and he ended up turning into like this soft character that would literally do anything for her type thing. And I feel like he gave a lot of like mixed feelings, or like his personality switched up quite a lot in this, but I still really liked his character. There was one thing in this book that he did do, which I'm not going to say anything because it was a spoiler, but it was like really made me mad, because I was like, if someone did that to me in real life, oh my goodness, it would be so unforgivable. And how easy Georgia forgave him. And I mean, some people might have a different perspective about what it is. Obviously, like I said, I'm not going to say it, I don't want to spoil anything, but some people might have a different perspective. For me, it'd be an unforgivable thing. Yeah, I just feel like she forgave him way too quickly, but like I said, a lot of people have a lot of different preferences and stuff like that for that. So yeah, but I suppose he did do it with a good intentions, but still not the point. So this is also like Grumpy Sunshine. That is why I said his meanness in the beginning just felt a bit too mean. It wasn't grumpy. I also really enjoyed the marriage convenient aspect in this. I feel like that might have been like my favourite part of this book, just seeing them obviously being like enemies but having to do this thing for each other, and seeing like how much their relationship progressed, especially with like, and with their bickering, which again was really enjoyable because it was just like really like fun banter between each other. Honestly, I don't really know what else to say about this book. I feel like I didn't really do many updates, but this also had the one bed trope in it as well, which I really enjoyed. So I just feel like this book had so many good tropes. Enemies to lovers, Grumpy Sunshine, one bed, marriage of convenience, and I feel like they all tied in really well together, or at least I feel like Stephanie Archer did really well tie them together. I really enjoyed the writing style. I love that with this being a enemies to lovers, that it kind of gave us slow burn vibes. Like, it wasn't like too slow where it felt like it was being dragged on. I feel like it was the perfect amount where you had enough time for them to be enemies, then have like obviously their bickering moments, and then have their, oh no, I'm falling for the other person when I'm not supposed to be, this is bad, back to like the we're gonna pretend this isn't gonna happen type thing, and then, you know, all that stuff. I feel like there was enough time for all of that and it was done perfectly. But I have decided to rate this 4 stars. It was really enjoyable, was able to read it in one sitting, and I would highly recommend the series in general because it's so good. And I think that's all I have to say about this book. I am afraid that I'm forgetting details, but honestly, a really enjoyable read. Next, I am going to start The Air. I might just listen to the audiobook for this one for a little bit, just because I am tired, I'm not gonna lie, but I would like to finish this tonight, we'll see. But the font is quite big, so I might listen to the audiobook for a bit, maybe do a bit of like content planning and stuff, and then I can read physically, because like I said, yes, it seems like a big book, but the font is quite big, so I feel like I can get this read quite quickly, although it is like almost 500 pages. We'll see how it goes, but I'll give you all an update once I have one.
I also forgot to explain what The Air was about. I don't know what was happening. This follows childhood best friends Anna and Leah, who attend the Kingmakers Academy for training future crime family leaders. That's all I can really say without spoiling too much about it. All I'm gonna say is obviously this is like twisty, not twisty per se, but there was just so many unexpected things and unexplained things, and I know that most people enjoyed that. It's just I personally, it's not that I didn't enjoy going into it blindly finding out something, you know, it was just a romance. That's all I'm gonna say without saying too much.
I'm not far into the air, and already I'm not liking how this is going to go, just because this type of thing isn't for me personally. I'm going to give it a chance, obviously, but I went into this thinking it was one thing. Obviously I went into it kind of blind, but I went into it thinking it was one thing, and it kind of turns out it's something completely different from what I was expecting. But all I'm going to say is I don't see the point in 3 POVs, and that's what I'm going to say without spoiling too much, because I don't know how this is going to go. I think it's going to go one way, which I wasn't expecting. I am obviously going to read more, but we'll see. I'm on page 269, which is quite far in, further than what I thought I was going to get in tonight, but it is quite like a quick, fast-paced read. I am a little bit disappointed though, because this was definitely different from what I was expecting. When I saw that there's 3 POVs, I thought it was going to be a different type of a book, but it's not the case. And that's all I'm going to say without spoiling it too much. And the way it's gone, not my thing at all. I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm a little bit annoyed. But again, that's just because this type of book isn't for me. I am mad at FMC, Anna. I don't like any of the characters, if I'm being completely honest. And like I said, disappointed because I saw a lot of good reviews about this book from years ago. But it doesn't seem to be for me. Now, I am interested in the main romance plot, if that makes sense, even though I'm not a big fan of the characters, but I'm interested in that, and I'm interested in the plot, and I'm interested in like the backstory and all of that stuff. So that is why I'm continuing on reading it. It's just the I can't really say much without spoiling things, but it's just the situation that is like the, I want to say, main plot point. I don't know how to feel about this. I suppose it depends. We've still got quite a bit left, so I am going to try and finish it, because it is like I am going to continue reading, and I'll give you all an update once I have one. Okay, so this lighting is quite creepy because I'm having to use my flashlight on my phone because it's my light for my camera, and I forgot to charge it. But I have now finished the air, and I thought I'd give it a quick update. Honestly, I don't really have many opinions about it. I think I'm going to rate this 3 stars, but I do think I'm being a little bit generous, if I'm being honest, because I was between like a 2 or 3. Honestly, I might change it to a 2. I do think I'm being a little bit kind with a 3, but either way, because this book wasn't what I expected going into it at all. I did enjoy like the mafia world, and the fact that like the kids was like connected to the other series and all that stuff. I wasn't a fan of the romance at all. I just didn't feel a connection between the characters. I didn't like the situation. There's a third POV in this book, and I just didn't like our perspective from him. I didn't like that character at all, just because of the decisions he made. If you know, you know, without going into it too much. Honestly, I didn't really like our female main character, Anna. We didn't really get much of like a romance plot between like 2 of the main characters until about 80%, and then just the whole time I wasn't feeling a connection. And so yeah, this one kind of fell flat for me a little bit. Like I said, the only reason I kept reading was for the mafia world and for like the main plot of the story, but believe it or not, the romance wasn't for me in this one. So that is why, yes, I've rated it 3 star, but maybe it's more of a 2. I don't know, because I did really enjoy the mafia side of things. But this book was very fast paced, believe it or not, considering it is a like 500-page book. It is very quick to read, because I was switching from physical audio and Kindle, and all 3 were very bingeable. But I am going to say, why does this need to be so long? It did feel like it was dragging out in most parts, where I felt like most things were being repeated and it just wasn't needed. But yeah, honestly, I don't really have much to say about this book, but those are my opinions. I am going to move on to Long Shot next. I don't know when, probably tomorrow, as it is very late. I am so tired. So yeah, it'll probably be tomorrow night when I start this one, but I'll give you all an update once I have started Long Shot. I am a big chunk of the way through Long Shot. I am on chapter 32, which is page 255, and so I thought I would come and explain what this is about a little bit. So this follows Iris and August, and August is a basketball player. Iris is sitting at a bar, and that is when she comes across August, and she feels like you can tell she feels like more free, she's like more herself, all that stuff. She gets to talking to August, and long story short, she ends up gaining feelings for him, but she already has a boyfriend. But she ends up also finding herself stuck in a very toxic and abusive relationship, and so you are seeing mostly that side. And I must say, this is a very hard read. Please check trigger warnings. It took me a while to get to this book originally because I knew that it was going to be a hard read, because that's what I heard other people talking about, but I didn't realize it was going to be about this specifically, because I did try and go into it as blind as I possibly can. All I knew was read it when you're ready because of trigger warning. So that is why it took me a while. I was nervous because I knew that it wasn't going to be the normal sports romance, and so I am definitely enjoying it. Like I said, it is a hard read. I feel like enjoying it is a very like weird way of describing it, but I am enjoying the story. I do feel like Iris is a very strong female main character in this, and I am enjoying seeing how the story is turning out. I must say, I am also very frustrated as well because of the way things are going, but that is like, of course I am, you know, it's going to be expected because of the topics and the stuff that you see, or should I say read about. So yeah, that's all I have for now. I'm going to go and finish it because I don't have much left, and I'll give you all an update once I have one. I have just finished Long Shot, and wow, I generally don't know what I'm going to rate this. I am definitely between like a 4.5, 4.75, even honestly even a 5-star, just because going into this I knew that it was going to be a hard read, but how hard I just didn't expect, because I like when I heard people talking about it and all that stuff, it just didn't come across as like as bad as what it is basically. So I did not expect the book to be as heavy as it is, and it went much deeper than what I was expecting. I was expecting like a basketball romance, like casual sports romance with maybe like something deeper. I was expecting just not as deep as it was type thing. But then obviously that is when you start to see Iris's story and you start to read about the domestic violence, and I must say it is very graphic. You get details about it, and that is what I mean by it was heavier than what I was expecting, because I just wasn't expecting all the detail and information that we was given. But I must say it was very, very important to Iris's story. It was much needed. You see her strength and the strength she has to have to go through what she has been through, and how much hope she had to have throughout this. And it was very hard to read, but also I feel like it was also a very important read as well. I do love August as our MMC, and he is one of the best MMCs I have read about in a while, and you can tell how much he cares about Iris and how much he was there for her and wanted to be there for her. But I would say the main plot of this story is about Iris, and so during this we are basically mainly following her, and we are technically like in her head, and you are following along with every situation that she is being put in. You are also feeling her pain, the frustration she's feeling that she is having to go through this and that she is in this situation, and how hopeless she felt majority of the time. Even though I was finding it so hard to read, I also couldn't put it down because I wanted to see a happy ending for Iris. I wanted to see it all be over for her. This is my third book from Kennedy Ryan, and I've read You Belong With Me and Could Have Been Us or something along those lines. I thought they were heavy. I thought they were deep. And I'm not gonna lie, they do have some heavy topics, but this one on the other hand was heavy. But I must say, Kennedy Ryan does it really, really well, because the way that Kennedy Ryan writes her characters and makes you feel the emotions that the characters are going through is wild to me. It is done so well. I feel like it couldn't have been done any better. I feel like I honestly have no complaints about this book. It was just really well done, and I would highly recommend this book if you haven't read it already. So that is the end of today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe and leave this emoji if you're watching to the end, and I hope to see you on my next one. Bye.